So this is something that we had previously discussed, and guys asked me to expand a little bit on it, so we will. And really the topic is why I keep losing control. I can't get in control. I can't get control over my life. I can't get control about anything. So let's try to quickly review what we have previously said. Let me explain to you the following. Life is a three-dimensional ordeal. We move in all directions and up and down in terms of our operation. So the only movement similar to that will be an airplane. It's okay, open, it's fine. It's an airplane. When you fly a plane, not only you fly straight or you can go sideways, you can also go up and down. Right? So it is very difficult to be a pilot. And it's very difficult to be a pilot of a very unstable plane. For example, the little planes, you have the Cessnas, the so on and so forth, they're almost like gliders with an engine. There's no more than that. They could glide. They could really glide. Big planes can glide too. However, jets, like fighter jets, the engine drops, they don't really glide that well. And they're very unstable. That's why they can do a lot of maneuvers and so on and so forth. If you're going to take, let's say, a Piper or a Cessna, and you're going to put it into a dogfight going like this with a plane, it's not going to work. I mean, you have to maintain a certain angle because of the structure of the plane. Take the F-16, F-15, all those fighter jets. They are very unstable. That's what gives them the maneuverability. They can go up and down. But it doesn't make a difference which plane are you flying. There's one thing you have to know. You have to know what we call the envelope of operations. What are the boundaries of the plane? What is the plane capable of doing? For example, if you're going to take a single-engine Cessna, you're not going to be able to fly it at 30,000 feet and so on and so forth. It's just not going to happen. It's never going to go up that high. You're going to go up, and then. However, it can fly very low and pretty good. You're going to take a bigger plane to fly low. It's a big of a problem for him. So every plane is designed different. You need to know, as a pilot, what kind of plane are you flying? And what are the boundaries of the plane? To become a pilot, whether it's a Army pilot, Navy pilot, Air Force pilot, whatever it is, become a commercial pilot, takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of work. Michael, your computer. Takes a lot of effort. And it takes years. Even if you want to get your own single-engine pilot, fly from whatever you're flying, takes time, takes effort. You need to really know what you're doing. Because of that, and to be a good pilot, that's already something completely different. When you are a good pilot, you need to change the whole way you look at things. We look at things from this dimension. We don't operate so much on the height of things. A pilot need to be able, he sees things from the top, from above. In order to be, you can recognize streets and so on and so forth. If I put you on a plane and the plane is flying fast, it will be very hard for you to recognize topographics and to see things from above. You need to be able to translate a flat picture into a three-dimensional picture and to be able to fly and so on and so forth. This is why, by the way, there are very few pilots, relatively speaking, to the population. If you take the amount of people who fly fighter jets, it's minimal. Very few. And so on and so forth. Why is that? Why so many people fail? Because they fail in life. Because they approach the same thing in life. They don't develop this ability to see things in multiple dimensions at once and to translate the information. Usually, if you comply the Microsoft simulator, you'll be okay. somehow. If you crash, you crash. You just get up from your seat, get up from water, okay. But however, if I'm going to put you on a plane, any plane, it will be the easiest and most difficult one, you're going to crash. If you ever thought that you're going to go on, on a plane and the pilot is going to have a heart attack, and they're going to call you, who knows how to fly a plane? And you're going to say, oh, me, and you're going to sit in and going to fly the plane, and you're going to save everybody, and hooray, you are wrong. I can assure you that even if they guide you towards the landing, at landing you're going to crash. Without a doubt. Don't even fool yourself to think otherwise. By the way, that's what happened to most people in life. So if we forget about vertigo, flying upside down, and so on and so forth. But since it's so difficult, let's refer to something that is more two-dimensional, and let's see how we can drive a car. When you drive a car and you go on a highway or you go on roads, what helps us maintain our ability to go wherever we want it is the boundaries. You have a line from here, a line from here, you have maybe a divider here, and you might have a sidewalk or whatever, but you could keep yourself more or less in line. It's very interesting. I don't know if you know this. Many people, when they come next to a truck, they drive next to a big truck, a semi-trailer, and there is a divider on the side, and the shoulder is narrow. For whatever reason, they're always going to gravitate towards the truck. It's ridiculous. People always do that. Why? It's very simple. You are concerned with the truck who is driving this way. You're not paying attention to your path. So, evidently, since you're paying attention there, well, guess what happens? You're going to be drawn there. And then you get too close, and then you get an accident. Pay attention, all you great drivers. How do you drive? Whatever it is you drive, you have to find the middle of your path. The middle of the path, and you drive along. Take the middle. People think, oh no, I'll go from one side to the other side. That's if you go in a very high speed and you're about to make a turn, you still maintain, it's not that you're going out to the other side and going like this. You still are maintaining the future point beyond the turn and where you're going to be, which is in the middle, and in order to align yourself with that, you need to go from here, and then you align yourself to that direction. What happens is, we don't do the above. We many times don't understand our abilities, who we are. We don't understand, even a car has an envelope of operation where it would drive the best. Some cars will get X amount of torque at the peak of the torque of the engine at 6,000 RPM. Some people will do it less. Some cars will do it less. People are the same thing. We are all different. Some of us are like trucks. You need a double clutch to everything. It's a diesel. It's hard to move. Once it goes, it's unstoppable. Some people are just like sports car. They work on very high RPM, 8,000, 7,000 RPM. The shift is very high. You're working like this. You're taking turns. The wear and tear is high. It's great. Some people are just like, the Corollas, the Camrys of our lives. They're just, they're reliable, but you need to know what you're driving. If I'm going to take, let's say, a Honda Accord, and I'm going to try to tow a boat, it might do it for a while, but it's going to be such a wear and tear on the car is going to fall apart. Yet, if I'm going to take a Ford Raptor, right, and I'm going to drive it in a city, I'm basically saying that I'm kind of a moron. That's not meant to drive in the city. That's meant to drive in Baja or places like this, outdoors, and it's a monster that was made outdoors, not in urban environment. We don't know what we're doing. We haven't defined. And as you know, if you go and all of a sudden you kind of slack, especially at night, when you don't have the corrections all the time, you go to the side of the road, and you get those bumps. It goes like this. The car bumps. We drive like that. Then what happens? We wake up and we panic and we go all the way to the other side. And then what happened? We go from this side to that side. We crash, we bang, and catastrophe. If you start drifting, and you go a little bit and you start feeling those bumps, maintain your direction and make a small increment change back into your lane. Most people in their life will not even do that. Most people will say, okay, let me go right over the cliff. I'm not going to pay attention. The reason why we don't have control over our lives is because we neglect the road on which we are going. We neglect to stay loyal, to pick up the middle path of our lives, not to go from one extreme to the other extreme. Sometimes extreme would come, and yet nobody ever learns or taught how to drive appropriately. They teach us how to drive defensive driving, which is really not that great. Because when you drive defensive, it does not prepare you for an emergency in the road. If you want to become a good driver, go assign yourself to some rally training, and they will teach you how to drive a car appropriately. So if you go into a skid, you'll come out of it. When you go into the skids of your life, how are you going to come out of it? If your car does not stop, what are you going to do? You lost your brakes. What are you going to do? You're going to a spin. Do you know how to come out of it? Do you know the car that you're driving? Do you know if your car has a front wheel drive, a rear wheel drive? There's a big enough coming up between the two. I'm talking about cars, but I'm not really talking about cars. I'm talking about yourself. What propels you? Which path are you taking? Which lane are you driving? How much into the lane do you drive? I don't know if you remember. Remember what we said, when they teach you how to drive, you take the middle of your hood, right? If you put the middle of the hood to the line, you have about 3 feet, right? Even though it seems like you are driving on a line, but if you take the middle of the hood and put it on the line on the side, you are okay. It might look like you are coming together, but you're not. You're maintaining a certain line. If you ever drive at night and it's completely dark, just like our lives, and there are no lights, like highway lights like we have, it's such a mechaya to drive with highway lights you don't know. And you drive in pitch black, and there's only the road, and your lights can only shine so far. How do you prevent yourself from crashing if you go in roads that are zigzagging? Very simple. You drive a little slower, and you keep on keeping track, you keep on paying attention to the right light, the right paint line that it's over there, and you correct yourself accordingly. So when you are lost in life, there is going to be a certain beacon of light that would guide you, and that you would follow. But if there isn't a beacon of light, you know what you do? You pull to the side and you wait until the light comes, because you might crash. So when you are completely lost with your life, call for help. All these methods are there for us to teach us how to drive, to teach us how to fly, to teach us how to ride bicycle. Everything could be applied into a spiritual thing. The same thing as you would ride a bike. There's nothing more spiritual in terms of like a spiritual experience and teaching than learning how to ride a bike. You want to ride a bike? Not a problem. Balance. And what? If you ever learn how to ride a bike, you'll never forget. Here too, we need to learn how to balance our life. Each and every one of us needs to know himself. You are your own vehicle and you are your own driver. You need to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, well, first start with the boundaries of what defines us, the boundaries, which are the boundaries of halakha. And halakha is not being determined by fashion, by style, and so on and so forth. Halakha is halakha. The Torah is the Torah. There are few examples as what I showed you last night, and some others, that the halakha would be changed according to the sign of the times. Very few. Most of the time halakha is halakha. Most of the time halakha is halakha. Don't think that life is a movie. You might be driving fast in the movie, and you could be like the Fast and Furious, right, or whatever it is. But don't forget, in a movie, everything is in a controlled environment. Many times when you drive in a movie, you're actually spinning the wheel, but it's not really the car is driving. It's connected to another car that drives, and there are pictures of you driving, but somebody else is driving it. Take those examples. You have it all. I didn't discover America. Take those examples and apply it. Learn from it about your life, what you could or you could not do. Avraham Avinu did that. We all have it inside of us. We know how to do everything. We know how to get out of trouble. We know how to succeed. But we never determined the boundaries. So I can take the best plane in the world, I don't know, the F-35, and whatever I'll do, it's not going to be able to become a submarine or to float in the ocean. It needs to fly. And boats don't fly as much as pigs don't fly. We need to know who we are. You must learn how to discover yourself. You must learn how to correct yourself. You need to keep the middle path all the time. What will keep you the middle path all the time is coming and learning every single day. Why? That's very simple. When you don't learn, is as if you fell asleep on the wheel. And I don't care, when you sleep on the wheel, most of the time the results are not that pretty. This is what determines our life. This is the path. Derech HaTorah, the way of Torah. This is what we do that creates the beacon in our life, so we won't be blind. Uvacharta b'chaim, and you choose life, means to choose Torah. Life is a wonderful trip. Enjoy it.